Hey everybody, I am Big Will. That is Who Dat Comics and Movies. And CGC, man, it could be a lot worse, but it could be a lot better. We're not even talking about CBCS this time. Normally, when we've done these, it's been the turnaround time update for CGC and CBCS. CBCS hadn't changed. It's still as crappy as ever. So we're just going to talk about CGC. We won't have to worry about CBCS. But man, what? Tell the people what we've been talking about on IG offline. Let them know.
So, I've just been messaging Big Will. We've been talking back and forth, and it kind of started when I didn't get some books shipped out. Well, some books that were supposed to be shipped out maybe like 10 business days past due. So I messaged them. I was like, man, they're lying about their turnaround times. So, and we just started going back and forth over there, talking about that. And you call them on the phone, they basically tell you that they're lying on their website because they've been told, and we'll get deeper into it, but they've been told when you call to tell people, we had everybody take off that week of Labor Day, that grade certain tier, and everything is like slow down. So it's whatever they're posting, it's false, and they're increasing it daily. If anybody has noticed it, they're increasing it daily because it jumped Thursday when I called, after I called, and then it jumped Friday, and then it's jumped again Monday. It hadn't changed today yet.
So let's 3 days. Let's walk the people through that a little bit. I submitted a fast track economy tier to CGC because at the time it said 20 business days. The other guys said 14, so I figured, hey, what 6 days? I'm $20 cheaper going CGC. And although I don't like their product as much, I think they still do a good job overall. So let's get it back, in a good amount of time. And that they received it about the 27th or 28th of July, but they have on here received July 29th. So from July 29th to shipped today. They shipped it, but it went from 20 to 35 to I think 40, back down to 35, and then the days you were talking about, it jumped from what to what?
It dropped. Well, I noticed it when it started going down. So it was at 35, went to 30, went to 20. And then I was like, all right, let me send some more books. So they're like 20. And then I call them up because I had some books reach past that 20 business days. I had 2 orders. One was at 28 business days, and the other one was at 22 business days. I wasn't too concerned about the 22 business days, but the 28 is concerning. You're getting, it's basically 2 weeks. And that's when I found out that they were decreasing, but it was all a facade because of the amount of people that took vacations during the Labor Day, and then right after I called, it increased.
They brilliantly let everyone in a single service area take off on the same day.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe he told me that on the phone. That's what was more shocking to me. And I told him that while I was on the phone. I wish I could have recorded the conversation because people wouldn't believe me. I know people probably don't believe me, but that's why I would certain things I need to have a recorder just in case. But when he told me that, I said, "Are you serious?" And he goes, "Yes, we're doing the best we can." That's what he kept saying. It started ticking me off, just to let people know. That was his comeback for everything. And then I said, in my job, and I know everybody I know job, they wouldn't have a division take all off at the same time. That doesn't happen. Supervisors would not allow that to happen.
Yeah.
So I couldn't believe he was telling me that. That's what I thought. I was like, I can't believe you're telling me that.
Yeah. Well, as of today, I've got it on my phone. The standard time for economy is still abysmal. It's 48 weeks. I think that's the math on it. 240 business days. The fast track right now is sitting at 41 business days. So, I mean, that's still, I mean, to me, 60 business days should be the cutoff of, hey, this is too much. And that's standard. But,
that's not standard. That's economy.
No, I'm saying the standard.
The standard, yeah.
Turnaround time to me should top out at 60 business days.
But speaking of standard, that you brought, like, everything has increased. Like, everything has gotten.
Yeah. And speaking of increase, just as of right now today, standard is 37 days or 17 days with fast track, and that is an increase from the last time that Hudat can tell you what it was last time. But I'll tell you my experience. I have an order of books coming in tomorrow. Actually, I should get them in unboxing, and they were received marked 8:30 and shipped 9:12.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, actually, they were shipped like the day before the 12th, but they marked it 9:12. So that's actually a good turnaround time, and I did not fast track it.
Yeah, the modern has been pretty good, even with the bigger time frames in a fast track. Those have been on point. Mine, I had ordered 8:31, and they got shipped on the 9th. And I just picked it up today from the post office. But actually, my post office had it yesterday. But
to ME's comment here, I'll let Hudat say what he thinks. But what I think is, no, I don't think it's a marketing scam, because they were only telling everybody, hey, modern tier. They weren't talking about economy tier when they were advertising their turnaround time. But I think that they're having trouble because it changes so much, accurately updating the turnaround time with economy, especially on the fast track, and then modern. We're about to talk about it. They're probably going to have a harder time on that too, because of a certain someone and doing a certain signing
at the worst time too, because it's holiday season. If you know CGC and holiday season, they do just like Labor Day. They all take off at the same time.
Apparently, so. But yeah. So, how do you feel about what my statement was? In my opinion,
it's not a marketing scam, because, and they also clarify, like on their website, saying this is estimated times, but they only marketed their modern tier, and they didn't market other stuff that they could have. They could have marketed express, standard, and walkthrough, because those times had went significantly down at that time. It was only economy that's still bad. You can ask people like BLC. He'll send an order in, and next year he'll get it. I just don't understand that, and I think we're going to touch on these points. But to me, walkthrough, to have 11 days on walkthrough last week was 2 days. Now it's 11 days. So it's just, I think they're increasing it so people don't get ticked off, because their first increase that Thursday, the Thursday before business closed, went from 20 to 28. No, 20 to 29. I'm sorry. And I said, them suckers did that. And I actually messaged Big Will. I said, them suckers for 29 days knowing my order tomorrow, my order after the weekend, Monday, would be 29 business days. And I said, that's something. And then it went from 29 to like 30 something, and now it's 41, like you said.
Yeah. Now, one thing we definitely need to touch on is that let's go back in time a little bit. 2019, it's about to be winter. And Todd McFarlane announces, hey, I'm going to do a private signing at CGC. I'm actually going to go down there. You can send your books there, get them signed, get them graded. And that was the first in-house signing that they did. And of course, they haven't stopped them ever since they started. But he was the first. And if you remember, the times on the modern tier jumped significantly. I mean, it was insane. And because of that, the backlog and they not having enough people, it made everything else go haywire too. They've had 2 years of doing that, and they've gotten bigger. They've gotten bought. They've increased prices. They've increased their the people and everyone that they have there. So I don't think it'll be as bad as last time. But on the phone with me, when I called and mentioned it, what the dude said was, "Yeah, they told us to prepare for that one. It's going to be a lot." So I expect modern tier to at least get up. We're probably going to see it reach at least 100. I don't think we're going to see 200 again because of the changes that have been made, but I definitely think we're going to see it jump from 37 business days to at least 100 is what I'm thinking. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally agree, because we were talking about that as well. That's another thing we had mentioned. He was talking about earlier, but we talked about. But yeah, they're gonna. I think they're preparing for that in the modern tier. Right now, increasing the times for modern tier, because modern tier, I don't think it's taking that long. Even they're not doing 17 to 37 days. They're like, when people have proof to show they're not doing that. But I think they're preparing.
13 days standard.
It was 13 days.
That was my turnaround for the modern.
And that was without fast track. Yeah, so they're not doing that currently, but they're, like he said, they're preparing themselves, because they don't want you to be ticked off if you send something November that's not for the signing, and you're like calling them in February, "Hey, where's my books at?" and you forget that they had 2 holidays or 3 holidays, and time and fall of signing. So you have 4 things that's going to clog up.
Yeah,
from
and
November.
Remember, those
February.
3 holidays will be happening around this time, and they're some of the biggest everyone gets off holidays that there are: Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're Thanksgiving and Christmas are a month apart, and New Year's is a week apart from Christmas. So you're talking about those 2 weeks. Yeah, so those 2 weeks are going to increase time. Yeah,
there's at least 2 weeks worth where no one's going to work, probably. And I would imagine there's a lot of vacation that happens in November and December, so they're not going to be as full staffed, most likely. So, keep in mind this. When they announced the Todd McFarlane signing, you have until November 11th. He's not sitting there on November 12th with a pen in hand. They don't let you know when they actually get there, for, I would imagine, safety reasons and other reasons. They don't want people bugging or complaining, saying, "Well, I know he's actually going to be there at this time." So it could be after Thanksgiving. I believe last time it was like the middle of December or the first week or 2 of December
it was supposed
when
to
he
be
actually signed.
Yeah, it was supposed to be earlier than that, I think, and then he got sick. And they pushed it back a month, I think.
What I'm saying though is that it's going to be longer before he actually signs, and that once he signs is when your expedited turnaround time comes in. And keep in mind, expedited turnaround time means you're going in front of the other people. They may or may not separate out the fast track, so that might not see it as hard a hit. But you know good and well, there's a whole bunch of books that are just going to be like, "And now you're first in line," because of it being standard turnaround time. So I would not send any modern books to CGC after October, because you're not going to see them probably on the stated turnaround time. It's probably going to take longer.
Yeah, and I 100% agree, because I told Bill, I said, if people need to send their modern books, if you don't want to use fast track and save some money, before October 31st. Before October 31st, if you want to get them back in a reasonable time when this time of falling stuff kicks off, because I think that's your latest window, and it might increase a little bit more, but I think you still get your books back before that signing really get kicked off. So anything after that is going to be bad. Yeah.
And keep in mind that even if you do send books in for the signing, they're not going to return to you until sometime in mid-January to the first half of March. That's when you'll probably get them back. So, and that's with their expedited turnaround time, because Todd's going to sign them. There's the holidays mixed in with that, and he's going to sign, I bet, in December. And then you have the 6 weeks for expedited, and if you get it pressed by them, which we don't recommend, that's 8 weeks. So yeah, but depending on where you are in the queue of Todd books, yeah, middle of January to the beginning of March is probably when those books are going to get to you. So
yeah,
if you want them back soon.
Yeah, don't wait. If you want them back soon, don't wait. That's the biggest thing. It's and they're preparing themselves for that modern backlog. And the funny thing is, I think we'll see economy start, the fast track economy maybe get better when all that happens, but you're going to see the modern go increase, which is crazy.
Yeah, because there is not a single Todd McFarlane book that is in economy.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a single one, because that's pre-75. And none of the Image guys have that, I don't think, pre-75 work. But that means that economy should actually be easing up, I hope. Because economy, remember, when they melded another tier into economy. So keep in mind that, because it may decrease, it may not. But even if it does, it won't be a lot.
Yeah, it won't be a lot. Yeah, because those graders are. I've talked to people before at CGC. Those graders are different from their modern graders. Mm-hmm. Their modern graders, basically their modern graders could be anybody that comes off the street. That's what they believe, because it's a modern book. They believe they can teach anybody who basically has two eyes, two hands. Yeah. So, but the older books, it's like they're better graders, and they don't have a whole slew of better graders. Yeah, because even the president, if he needs to step in and grade that tier or walk through, he does, like Steve would do when he was at CBCS. So yeah, Mr. Matt Nelson tends to grade every now and then if he has to. But
yeah. But that modern tier, man, do you think it'll hit? I think it might get up to 100. Do you think it'll beat that, or that probably the ceiling? Hopefully.
If I had to put a percentage, like if somebody gave me a bet, would modern tier, over under 30%, they get over 100, I'll take the over. Like over 30% chance that they'll hit it. Not saying I'm at 50%. That's why I use that number. I'm at around 40% chance that they go over. Close to 50%, but not exactly, just because I know the game that they're doing, and they already increased it to 37. So it's like, maybe, especially with the holidays.
Someone might be asking, why do we think this one guy's signing is going to do so much damage? And the reason for that is because Todd, you can get any book. If you see him at a convention, you can get it signed by him, and he'll talk to you and say, hey, but you cannot get it witnessed by CBCS, CGC, PGX, EG. It doesn't matter. He doesn't do that. He doesn't allow it. So the only way you can get his books signed and put in a slab with like a yellow label on it is that you have to wait for one of his private signings. And he usually does 2 a year, but I think he kind of didn't do maybe one during the pandemic years.
Yeah, the pandemic years he did one. He did one. So in 3 years he did one.
And then there's the one that started off CGC's whole signature series thing. Mm-hmm. And of course, out of everybody that can sign and do everything, because of that reason, he's very look forward to, and everybody. If I get the cash, I'm sending stuff in. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people send stuff in because of that reason. So that's why we expect him to cause so much of a ruckus and some damage to the turnaround times and stuff. That's why we're telling you, hey, prepare, because that.
And you even said it just best too, because I'm the same way, because I have a lot of stuff that I'm waiting on. So if I get the cash, just like he said, if I get the cash, I'm gonna send him a few books. I'm not gonna just and I don't want to just send one. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't want to just send one. I want to send one for the PC, but if I do that, I'm gonna send 2 to sell. So that's my thought process on doing it if I do this signing. But I have, like you said, I have to get the funds, and luckily I have enough time to get the funds if I want to do it. But
I've got 3 books ready in a window bag for if I get the cash, ready to go, and I got another 2 window bags ready just in case I get that much extra cash to send something. And I'm keeping an eye out for anything super special that McFarlane had his hands on to do. Right now, I just have copies of Spider-Man 1. But
and guess what? I actually have 2 books. That's why I'm probably not going to purchase any books. I have 2 books that I already sent off for grading and pressing with either Yahweh or Erod. I got one is a ASM 3, was it 316, the Venom cover. And then I got the Hulk 340. I had those already purchased because they were high grade, pressing clean, and I was going to sell them. So guess what I'm going to end up doing? Since I already know somebody I like pressed and clean them and really does a good job, I'm just going to send those slabs in with a little window where I want them to sign it, let them crack it, let them sign it. And if my theory is right, and it has been lately with those private signings, should get a grade bump. Whoa. I should get a grade bump with those. And so, I'm looking forward to sending those 2 books, and my PC book will be a Turtles. I think the first and only Todd McFarlane Turtles book he's done. So, just me. Oh, since Big Will has a call real quick. This is the new. I'm just saying new, but this is how I received some CGC books. Not saying it's bad or anything. It was just unexpected because we're so used to their brown boxes. But this is some book. This is 3 books in here. I'm pretty sure it feels like it's packed okay, but it just caught me off guard to see this type of box and how it's taped, because they use the good tape at the bottom and then they just use clear tape at the top. So I wanted to show that off since he put me on a big screen. But yeah, it was kind of I don't know if they're doing this with all of their smaller orders now. Usually they use a brown box, or they use the big brown box, depending on how many books. But this is how I received my books from CGC just now. Already know the grades. I didn't press and clean them, so I don't think I'm gonna do an unboxing on my channel. But yeah, I could show those off a little bit later. But yeah, I would just say definitely prepare yourself for the TAT signing. The only thing I'm not happy with CGC is that they are doing, which I don't know if other people like. I like it in a way. I like it, but I don't like it. All right, CBCS was the only one to do this. Once they receive your books, they take your money out your account. CGC starting to do that as well, but they're taking taking long to grade your stuff. So if you got an economy tier, like my boy BLC would send, and it's 200 and something days, they already took his money out. Like,
yeah,
that's like, man, hold up, man. If you're not gonna touch my books for almost a year, don't touch my money. Just send me an email or call me and say, hey, you're coming up on the queue to get your books touched. So we're gonna take the money now. But I've been noticing they're taking the money immediately after.
I disagree. CBCS has always done that.
No, I said CBCS has always done it. I like that, but
I like that better. That where they take my money as soon as they receive it, and I don't have to worry about it now. I just I got to get the money together. Oh, they took it out. Great. I don't have to worry about it now. And if something happens, that's what the insurance is for, and you can demand a refund. They'll make you happy. Don't worry. So I'm not worried. I actually
I said I only don't like it for the people like BLC. Like if you're waiting almost a year for them to get your books back. I mean, it's basically a year when it's 240 something.
Well, that's why I don't recommend you send something that's going to take that long.
I mean, I fast track everything. I hate to say it, unless it's good. Not modern now.
Yeah. Well, I if I send something, I'm gonna have to fast track it too. So that's what that extra cost makes me think. It makes me I don't send as much.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that was actually Micah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
But I have just to give you an idea of what happens when you have to fast track. Remember, Huda and I both, and most of the people will recommend to you, hey, unless you know it's a 9.8 and that's what you're shooting for, get your books pressed. So that means you got to send them to the presser. And we also recommend don't let CGC press them or CBCS just because of how long it takes. We won't even talk about the horror stories we've both heard. But if you do that, keep in mind you got to ship to a presser. You got to pay the presser. They're not going to ship it for free. You got to have return shipping for your CGC order or CBCS order. Then there's the cost of grading. I had 2 books that are just now shipping. It was Thor 134 and Shazam #1. All things totaled up, each one of those books cost me $84 to send. I could have saved $15 on each of them, but what's $15 when it's 40 days versus 240 days?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how much it costs. So you gotta figure out all this stuff and don't let it come and bite you. So make sure you take the time and look at it. I mean, is this book worth it?
And it's shipping costs too that they do little tricks for, and like you can send up the 5. If you send 5 books, they'll ship those back together. But once you go to that 6th book, it increases the shipping. So it's like I know those little tricks there too. So it's like if you have 5 books, perfect. But if you have like a 7 or 8, you might as well try to find 1 or 2 more books because the shipping is going to be the same. So it's funny how they do that, and like you said, the pressing fine. Like I just sent the pre-screen in because, and I normally don't send pre-screens in. But
I'm guessing you can take an $8 hit if the others hit the 9.8. They can make up for that, but you can't take a hit of what is it, $25 now, and it's a 9.6, and the difference is so great you can't even sell it. That's the hit part that I can't take. I can't. It's a 24, and if you did fast track, then it's another 15. But it's not worth it. I looked at the math, and then I didn't fast track it either because I could have fast tracked, and I messaged a bunch of people about it. I don't think I messaged you about it, but I messaged like Dustin from Two Brothers Comics, Yahweh, and a few others, and I said, man, what do you think? I should fast track this pre-screen modern? And this was the time when it was 20 and 10. I was like, man, in my heart, I was like, I don't think I should if it's 20 and 10, even if it increased, which it did to like 37 and 17. I still don't think it's worth it. I think it's better to save my money. Yeah, I agree. But remember, for both CBCS and CGC, pre-screen is tier plus 30 business days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if it was at 10 business days for the turnaround time, you're at 40 business days for your turnaround time with the pre-screen.
Yeah. And, but I still was okay with that. Because in 9.8s, those will work more, regardless. And those haven't dropped in. I did my research on all of these books and I looked them up, and I was like, I think it's worth me saving $480, even if it increased a little bit, because I think I'll still get these books back in the pre-screen before the time before signing. Yeah, which is probably late November or December. So they've been received since Monday. So I still think I think I did okay doing it that way, because even with the increase, I still technically should get it back before a holiday.
I just did something kind of like that with research and stuff. I don't know if you saw my video where me and Discovery Bay were looking at books, deciding which ones I should send. But
I see. That was a while. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we really looked at that, and I had like the Star Wars 68. It was that video. And when I was looking and grading the books, I'm like, you know what? I get these pressed by my presser's Gamma Rays Comics. He's on Instagram, and you know what? He should be getting through with my books probably today or tomorrow, and sending them to CGC. They're modern, and I did not fast track because most of those should be around a 9.8, maybe a 9.6. But if they don't get the grade I'm thinking they're going to be, even the grade underneath is still worth it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry. I don't have to do pre-screen, because CGC, I wish they would copy CBCS in this one area at least. You got to do 25 books. That's another thing that keeps me from sending in, a pre-screen. It's because I don't know if I want to fool with that. And so,
yeah, I wish they would decrease that to at least 20. But
yeah,
I think 20 would be a okay number.
Because I think a lot of people get 20 books together and just find 5 others, so they hit.
Yeah. And what I end up doing is I actually had 25. I actually had more than 25 books. So I said, well, I'm not going to send 40 books. So I end up selling the 32. I was like, and I wouldn't even send probably the extra 7 or the extra 5 plus the 7. It would have been 20. I just sent the best ones and then rolled with that, and then I probably would have fast tracked them. But yeah, it wasn't worth it.
I've got a little smattering of books here that are going to be for a pre-screen, I think. First I got to get the cash, and then after that I got to make sure I have the right amount of books. But worst case scenario, I can sell them as they are. Raw, But anyway, I think we pretty much. Is there anything we left out that we should talk about for the turnaround times? I think we got
pretty much everything. Like I said, that's why I had mentioned earlier. Like everything is basically increased. Like I said, walkthroughs at 11 days, expresses at 27. Standard was at 17 for the longest. Now it's 25. And like I said, everything else is going up. And the only thing I was kind of shocked about was the modern. I was surprised to see the modern go up because they've been so good on the moderns. But I have a feeling that might decrease again. But I think it's going to increase come end of November or whatever, or middle of November or whatever.
Probably.
Yeah, I got a feeling they're going to decrease it significantly in the next 2 weeks. They're going to probably get back to 20 and 10. Probably get back to 20 and 10 really soon. Probably it won't take them long because they stayed at 20 and 10 forever. So they're gonna get back to 20 and 10 probably before the end of the month. But they're only gonna stay there for like a month.
Probably.
So yeah.
Right. Well, I think that's it then. Thanks for stopping by. I'm waving to everybody, but Jay, you got here and we're leaving. It's all your fault. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Who Dat. Thank you everybody who's here in the live chat. We'll see y'all later. Bye.